Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into the 8 laws of health, which you might know by the acronym New START. That's nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, and so on.
Right. It's a framework that's been around for a while, but our mission today is very specific.
Extremely specific. We want to verify the core scientific claim here, which is pretty radical when you think about it.
It is. The claim is that these principles don't just manage cardiovascular disease, they can actually fundamentally reverse its progression.
And we're tracking that reversal across the 4 big pathological pillars: endothelial dysfunction, inflammation, oxidative stress, and autonomic imbalance.
Exactly.
So for what seems like a simple lifestyle protocol, is the data we have from major studies like the Adventist Health Study 2 or the Ornish and Esselstyn trials, is it really robust enough to back that up?
Oh, absolutely. The data is there. We're talking about quantitative angiographic evidence. We can see measurable plaque regression.
So you can actually see the arteries opening up again.
You can. And cohort studies show disease arrest. I mean, these are the gold standards. They prove these are agents of real structural and chemical change.
Okay, let's get into the big mechanisms then. First, nutrition. The protocol champions a whole food, plant-based diet. Why that one specifically?
Well, it starts with cholesterol, of course. You're maximizing the LDL receptors in liver, so your body just gets way better at clearing cholesterol. It kind of mimics what a statin does.
But there's more to it, right? Esselstyn's group saw 100% disease arrest in patients who complied. That feels like more than just cholesterol.
It is. The really radical mechanism is in the gut.
The gut-heart axis, you're talking about changing the body's chemistry at the source.
Precisely. A WFPB diet completely remodels your gut microbiome. And the big thing is, it stops producing a compound called trimethylamine N oxide, or TMAO.
Which is a key driver of atherosclerosis.
A key driver. So by cutting it off upstream, you're fundamentally altering your risk profile.
Okay, so that's the chemistry. Let's shift to mechanics. Exercise. The source material talks about a biological bypass. What does that even mean?
It sounds like sci-fi, but it's real. When you exercise, the increased blood flow creates what we call fluid shear stress against the artery walls.
A kind of physical force.
A physical force, exactly. And that stress is a signal. It tells these tiny dormant vessels, your body's backup routes, to wake up and mature into fully functional arteries.
So you are literally growing your own bypass around a blockage.
You are. It's a process called arteriogenesis. It's incredible.
Okay, if nutrition is chemical and exercise is mechanical, let's talk flow dynamics. Water. This one seems almost too basic to be a serious medical tool.
I get that, but it all comes down to hemorrhagiology, the physics of blood flow.
Okay.
When you're dehydrated, your whole blood viscosity goes up. Your blood literally gets thicker.
And that makes the heart work harder.
Massively harder. Koizumi law in physics shows that a small increase in thickness creates a huge jump in resistance. So staying hydrated is an immediate way to reduce strain on the heart.
What about sunlight? I think most people just connect it with vitamin D.
Vitamin D is important, sure. But there's a more direct effect. Your skin actually stores compounds called nitrate and nitrate.
And the sunlight does what?
UVA light hits the skin and converts those stores directly into nitric oxide. That causes an immediate system-wide vasodilation. Your blood vessels relax and your blood pressure drops. It's a natural antihypertensive.
And air. Is this just about avoiding pollution like PM 2.5?
That's a huge part of it, yes. PM 2.5 causes systemic inflammation. But the other side is behavioral. Deep breathing.
How does that help?
Slow, controlled breathing stimulates your vagus nerve. That actively shifts your nervous system out of a sympathetic fight or flight state and into a parasympathetic calm state. Better heart rate variability, less stress.
Let's move to the final components, what the material calls the system reset. Temperance. We all know quitting tobacco is crucial. But what about the J-curve for alcohol? That idea that a little bit is good for you.
Yeah, that myth has pretty much collapsed under the weight of modern genetics.
So no amount of alcohol is safe.
For the heart, the evidence from Mendelian randomization is clear. No amount is safe. It consistently raises the risk for things like hypertension and atrial fibrillation. The J-curve was likely just confounding factors.
Okay, then there's rest. We're not just talking about getting 8 hours, are we? This is about the circadian component.
Exactly. It's about ensuring that vital 10 to 20% drop in your blood pressure at night. We call it dipping.
And if you don't dip?
You're a non-dipper, and that's a serious independent risk factor for cardiovascular events. Plus, poor sleep jacks up inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein.
And finally, trust. This is framed as emotional and spiritual wellness. Psychoneuroimmunology.
That's the perfect way to look at it. Chronic stress means chronic activation of your HPA axis, which means chronically elevated cortisol.
And cortisol is cardiotoxic.
It is. It promotes visceral fat, insulin resistance, all the things you don't want. So emotional wellness acts as a physiological buffer against that damage.
So it's safe to say the core query is verified. This protocol works because it's not just treating symptoms, it's going upstream and hitting every single cause in a synergistic way.
The synergy is the most fascinating discovery. That's the whole key. Think about nitric oxide again.
Okay.
Nutrition gives you L-arginine, which is the raw material. But you need exercise to provide the mechanical shear stress, which is the trigger. You need both for the endothelium to actually create that essential molecule.
So the pieces all interlock to create this protective shield.
Precisely.
So here's the final thought for you to explore. If your entire cardiovascular health boils down to the health of that one single layer of cells, the endothelium, what consistent synergistic step will you take today to give it everything it needs to protect you?